Are you thinking about selling your home for sale by owner? It's not as simple as sticking a sign in the yard. So from nailing the perfect price to showing your home like a pro, I'm here sharing the insider secrets. It can make or break your sale. So stick around till the end for an extra tip that you won't hear anywhere else. Hey friends, Noah Jenkins here with Noah Jenkins Group and Keller Williams Realty, and I help people just like you move to the Charlotte and Lake Norman area every single day. So whether you're moving in 9 days or 9 months, call, text, or email me. There's no bull crap, no funnel, just simply humans talking, so just give me a call. So we're starting off at number 1, talking about preparing your home to sell. So when I meet with seller clients, I always tell them to do the 3 Ds: declutter, destage, and depersonalize. You've lived in your house for many years, so I'm sure that you've accumulated a bunch of stuff that doesn't really need to be there, or things that you don't really need from the time you go active until you close on the house. So go ahead, take all of that stuff out of the house, put it in a storage unit, put it in the garage, put it somewhere where it's out of sight, out of mind. What's going through in the buyer's head when they're seeing all of this clutter and things just sitting out everywhere is they're thinking, if they're accumulating all this stuff, they're not really taking care of their home. So go ahead, take all of that stuff out. Like I said, out of sight, out of mind, get it out of the pictures, get it out of the showings, everything. Deep clean. So what I'm talking about here is baseboards, ceiling fans, really getting into the nitty gritty and cleaning the little things that you don't really think about. Under the fridge, behind the fridge, under the stove, behind the stove, countertops, your cabinets, all of that stuff. Get in and really clean. Again, here in the buyer's mind is they're thinking, there's dust and this little stuff everywhere. So if they're not taking care of this, what's to say they're not taking care of some of the major things that need to be done on the home? And then the last one, of course, is depersonalize. So removing all of your family pictures. If you have a sign that has your last name with established date or whatever you may have, go ahead and remove that stuff as well. Buyers have a really hard time visualizing themselves living in your space when they're surrounded by family photos and last names and whatnot and whatever else you may have. So go ahead and remove that stuff as well. And then while we're sort of still talking about the inside, neutralize your house. So if you have, really bright paint colors, like a bright yellow, things that really aren't in style now, go ahead and paint, because paint can completely transform your house. I'm telling you, you will not feel like it's the same house that you were living in for however many years that you were there. Go ahead and paint your walls, grays, beiges, anything that's, sort of that neutral color. Remove the reds, the yellows, the greens, the purples, keep it neutral. And I know what you're thinking. Buyers are going to come in and they're going to paint anyway, but I'm telling you, you're going to have a lot more successful sale and not be on the market as long if you go ahead and paint a neutral color if you have some of those, poppy, flashy colors. Then moving toward the outside, you're going to want to make sure that you have curb appeal. So what I mean by this is go ahead and mow the grass, go ahead and trim any bushes, plant some flowers if we're in the spring or the summer, or if we're in the fall or winter, maybe try to get some of the plants that I don't know can survive in the winter. I'm not a plant guy, so I don't really know. But go ahead and put new mulch out, just make everything look good. If you need to pressure wash the house, pressure wash the driveway, the sidewalks. Buyers, that's the first thing that they see when they pull up to your house. So it's going to make or break whether they want to walk inside or not. So go ahead, make sure that you have mad curb appeal, and make people want to say, I want to see the inside of that house. So that's it for number 1, preparing your home Moving on to number 2 is setting the price right. This is absolutely crucial because number 1, you're already listing for sale by owner, which I'm not saying is a bad thing. If I were in your place, I would do the same exact thing and try to save commission. So setting the price right is absolutely crucial because you're selling for sale by owner, so you're not listing on the MLS, or maybe you are. We'll talk about that later in the video. So you're going to be placed kind of on the back end of Zillow, or the back end where not everyone is seeing your home. So pricing it right is absolutely critical. Do not pay attention to the Zillow's estimate or some of those online evaluators on the value of your house. It's not accurate. You're going to want to take a deep dive into your neighborhood and really look at the comps. Compare the size, the condition, the location. Your house may not be right in front of a clubhouse where maybe the comp that sold is. So really getting in to the nitty gritty and looking at that kind of stuff is really going to help with your pricing. And I would highly recommend here to get an appraisal. Even when I'm listing a house with my seller, I recommend getting an appraisal anyway, because, we're relying on an appraisal that a lender is going to use for the financing of their house. I mean, an appraisal is going to be required regardless, unless it's a cash buyer, of course, but they may still get an appraisal. But kind of getting ahead of that is really key here. So let's say, your estimate is 540 or whatever it may be. An appraisal comes in at 525. Well, if you list at 540, you're not going to get any buyers because we know that your house is worth 525. So spending that money up front, $500-600, it could save you thousands of dollars if you go ahead and get it up front. Whereas on the back end, if you get a buyer that's interested, they're going to try to negotiate, where if you have that piece of paper in your hand, that $500 piece of paper, you can say, this is what my house is worth. This is what I'm selling for. Number 3 is setting your bottom line and thinking about the motivation of why you're selling. So setting your bottom line is going to say, my house is listed for 525, but I'm not going to take anything less than 500. Now, of course, you're listing for 525, so you're given that kind of $25,000 for negotiation room. So say a buyer comes in at 315, or they come in at 3, whatever it is. I don't even know what numbers I was just talking about, but that's okay. So just get to your bottom line, know what that number is, and stick to it. And then number 2, talking about your motivation. So let's say you have to move in 30 days regardless. So you may price your home slightly under market value so that you can get the most amount of buyers that you need. Or let's say, you have to move, but you're not really on a time stamp. It can be 60, 90 days down the road. So you want to get the max amount of price that you can for your house. So talking about that motivation, getting down, really drilling down on what it is that you need, what you want, it can really help in negotiations so that you don't feel stuck. Number 4, we're talking about marketing materials. So first up on number 4 is we're talking about photography. 99% of sellers that sell for sale by owner, they're taking their phone and they're taking pictures. Number 1, don't do it. So think about this. So when a potential buyer is viewing your house on the MLS or whatever it may be, the very first thing that they see are the pictures of your house. That's what's sort of, going to help them determine if they want to see it in person and if they want to make an offer. If you have crappy photos, do you really think that do you really think that a buyer is really going to want to come and look at your house in person? Absolutely not. So get professional photos. It's going to be $300-400, but again, it's one of those things that is absolutely crucial because it's the very first thing that a buyer sees. Be sure that your photography, or that the person that's doing your photos is going to do drone photos. Buyers like to see those aerial photos and kind of see what the neighborhood looks like, where your house is located, what your front yard and your backyard look like. They want to see everything. And then again, if you're doing your photos, if you want to save that $300-400, here's 2 things that you should do no matter what. Number 1 is make sure you have good lighting. So whether you need to go to the store and buy a ring light for $25, do it, or whether you need to open the blinds a little bit to bring in some of that natural light, do it, please. Also think about bracketing or HDR photos. This is probably not something that you want to hear, but when you're doing bracketing, it's basically taking 3 different photos, all at different lights within your camera. And then it's going to blend them all together to make sure that every detail is brought together in your space. So use bracketing and make sure you have good lighting if you're going to take your own photos. And then number 2 in the marketing material is videography. So listen to this statistic. 58% of buyers want to see a video of your house prior to them determining if they want to see it in person. 58 buyers. So let's say you don't do any video, you don't do it, you don't post it online, you just lost out on 58% of your buyers, over half of your buyers. So please guys, real estate agents, we do these things. We spend the money so that you don't have to. But if you're listing for sale by owner, please still do it. Buyers want to see these things. We run our businesses based off of statistics, and we're not just doing the things because we want to spend money. When I list a house, I don't expect the buyer or the seller to repay me for any of the things that I'm spending my money on for marketing materials. You don't have to pay for photos, videos, 3D virtual tours. I'm taking that as an expense for my business. I'm charging you a certain amount, and part of that certain amount is what I'm spending on marketing. So I digress. Please do photos and videos. Please do them professionally if you can. If not, watch some YouTube videos on how to do it a little more professional, and don't just set up your phone and just take pictures. Number 5 is don't skimp on the details in your listing. So if your roof was replaced recently, if your HVAC was replaced recently, if you have new floors, new cabinets, put that kind of things in there because that's what buyers want to see. Number 1 question that I get from buyers is, what year was the roof replaced and what year was the HVAC replaced? Because those are the 2 main things that cost the most amount of money. So if you've recently done those types of things, put that in the listing. Buyers want to see that. Talking about listing here, so the different places that you can kind of go. So Zillow, obviously they have a for sale by owner side. It's not going to be on the main side of Zillow, so you kind of have to, dig a little bit in order to see the for sale by owners. So definitely we recommend going there. Zillow is probably the number 1 site that people look at. They have sites like forsalebyowner.com or FSBO.com. And then of course you also have what I call the discount brokers. You can find them online, search on Google. You can pay a flat fee of, I don't really know what the price is because I don't look at it. But you can pay a flat fee, maybe a couple $100 to put your home on the MLS, but you're still for sale by owner. They don't represent you by any means. They just strictly put your house on the MLS so that it gets published to me as a buyer's agent or any other buyer's agent. So I would say that's definitely the most bang for your buck is listing with a discount broker, and go ahead and put your home on the MLS. Just again, don't skimp on the details. Go ahead and put everything in there. I think they have different packages for how many photos. Go ahead and pay for however many. Pay for the most expensive one because that's going to get you your most bang for buck. Just do it. And last but not least, in your description, this is what you're not going to hear anywhere else. So this also applies to agents. So let's say, in looking down at your listing, at the top, it's going to have bedrooms, bathrooms, your square footage. It's going to talk about recent upgrades that you made. Down at the bottom is going to be a description. This is going to be public remarks about whatever it is that you want to say about your home, what you love most about your home, etc., etc. This is going to be where you'll put in, what year your roof was replaced if it was recently, HVAC, etc. But here in the description, don't just reiterate how many bedrooms and how many bathrooms and what your square footage is, because it's already up in the listing. They don't want to see it again. They know how many bedrooms and bathrooms you have. Tell a story in the description. So if you have a beautiful wraparound porch and you sit out and drink your coffee every morning listening to the birds on that front porch, put that in the description. Here it is. Imagine waking up every morning, sitting on your front porch, sipping your coffee, listening to the birds. Put those details in there. Buyers, they visualize themselves after seeing the photos. They visualize themselves sitting in a rocking chair on your front porch, and they can see themselves living there. When you paint that mental picture, people are like, heck yes, let's go. So tell a story in your description, please. Most agents don't do this either, so you're literally not going to hear this anywhere else, but it is the most important thing because it's a story. People don't want to hear, oh, I know it's 3-bedroom, 3-bath. I know it's a ranch home. I know it's brick. People don't want to hear that. They already know that from above. So tell a story in the description. I promise you it will make everything so much better. So there you have it, guys. Your 4 plus 1 extra, so 5 total tips for selling for sale by owner. I promise you, if you do all of these, you're going to maximize your sale and you're going to sell as quickly as possible for the most amount of money. Please do these things. I'm going to relist them in the description if you want to take a screenshot of it or whatever it may be, but please, please, please do these things. It's going to help you in the long run. It's going to help you in the short run. So please just do them. And if you don't want to do them and you're in the Charlotte or Lake Norman area, give me a call. I'll do all of them for you, so you do not have to worry about it at all. You don't have to spend your money. I'll spend my money. So if you enjoyed this video, you'll love the other videos that I have about selling your home. I have a custom playlist that talks about selling your home that kind of goes more into depth on all of these points. They'll be linked here. You can go watch those. And if you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me. I'm more than happy to help. So stay tuned for the next video and we'll see you in the next one.